learning community, it's Dr. Deanna, and in this episode, I'm going to share with you a super simple skill that's often overlooked but very important for your child's literacy. The strategy that I'm going to share is very, very simple, and it's something that you can do in the comfort of your own home every time that you do a read aloud. It's something that you've probably already been doing and modeling for your child if you do read aloud to them without even knowing. But it's also very good to go ahead and start using some of what we call language of the discipline. Language of the discipline are academic terms that we use in different areas of study. So for instance, reading, we have different words that we use like phonemes or consonant blends, and illustrator, author, all of these things are terms and there's phrases that we use. It's very good to start introducing our children because they will absorb this vocabulary and it will make their literacy journey and their academic journey much easier as they go along. So, what's this skill that I talk of? It is called Concepts About Print, and it is very foundational. In fact, when I started teaching kindergarten, I was shocked that I had to teach these little people in my classroom the difference between a letter and a word. I was this 22-year-old fresh off the press of the university, and I was like, what? I took that skill for granted. And that's kind of the thing with us as adults. There are so many things we don't even remember when and how we learned it, but we just know it and we take it for granted and assume that children have picked it up. And sometimes they have, but sometimes they haven't. So, concepts about print include things like how to find their way around a book. It includes things like the author, the illustrator, where do they start when they read? So, this is what I recommend that you do when you are reading with your child. And this also carries over into when you start teaching them to write and spell. Okay, so you want to go ahead, introduce concepts and terms like this is the front of the book, this is the cover, this is the spine, it holds the book together, this is the back of the book, all right? Because they're orientating themselves, and that seems so basic, but when I taught kindergarten, I can tell you I knew if a child hadn't had exposure to books because they didn't know how to orientate a book. So just something to talk with them, give them that vocabulary. We open a book like this. We turn the page like this. And that's how we go to see what's on the next page. Those are very important skills. Again, it's not teaching a child how to read, but it is laying the foundation for them to be confident and comfortable in their blending and reading because they're going to know how to use a book. All right, another important skill. We talk about the title page, and what do we find on the title page? We have the name of the author. That's the person that wrote the story. We have the name of the illustrator. That's the person who drew the pictures. If there's a photographer, that's the person that took the pictures. So this is all great vocabulary that we are giving to our children that we easily can introduce to them. We also find the title on the title page, all right? You can even get into if there's a publisher page that gives the information about the publisher, where the book was made, the company that made the book, and a dedication, who the author wrote the book for. That's also something that you can introduce your child to. In this book, let's see, I'm not sure we do not have page numbers, but page numbers is super important, especially as they get into things like needing to use indexes or table of contents that might come a little bit later, but we can still already be front loading these skills so kids are ready, that they don't have to play catch up, right? All right, so that reminds me of the little sign I had in my classroom that was like a little ketchup bottle, and it was ketchup work if you had to do some ketchup work. That was just a fun little thing. All right, so another important skill is where do we start when we read? And this is not only getting them ready to know where to start when they read, but also where to start when they write. So we start over here. Which way do we go? We go this way. Uh-oh, I got to the end of the line. Where do I go next? Shoop. I go to the next line down there. I call that the shoop. but the technical term is return sweep. So all of these things are critical, often overlooked, but yet just as essential to helping your child be a comfortable, confident, and proficient reader. And with that, I'll teach to your little learners learning strengths, one child and family at a time.